After Dark Stories. Episode 7. True Crime, the Isdal Woman. On a grey November afternoon in 1970, a father, hiking with his two daughters in a remote Norwegian valley, came upon something that would never be fully explained. A woman's body, burnt almost beyond recognition, lying in a hollow between the rocks. The ground around her still reeked of petrol. But that wasn't the strange part. The strange part was what someone had done, very deliberately, before she died. The valley is called Isdalen, the Ice Valley. It sits outside Bergen, Norway, ringed by steep hillside trails that tourists rarely use in late autumn. When police arrived, they found a scene that appeared staged, or at the very least, carefully managed. The woman was dead. She had burns consistent with fire set at the site. Near her body were several prescription sleeping pill bottles. Her jewelry and a woman's watch had been placed beside her, not worn, but arranged, set down with intention. The autopsy revealed she had died from a combination of sleeping pill overdose and carbon monoxide inhalation from the fire. The official verdict would eventually be probable suicide. But here is where the case begins to unravel. Every label had been cut from her clothing. Not torn, not lost, cut. Each one snipped away with precision. The manufacturer markings on her belongings had been scraped off, and her fingerprints appeared to have been deliberately sanded down, an act that requires patience, knowledge, and motive. Someone had worked very hard to make sure this woman could not be identified. Police traced her through hotel records, and what they found was astonishing. She had been traveling across Norway and Europe for months, checking into hotels under at least 8 different names. Fenella Lorch, Claudia Tielt, Vera Jarl. Each one backed by false documents, each one crafted well enough to satisfy border officials across multiple countries. She always paid in cash. She spoke multiple languages fluently, switching between them depending on where she was. 3 days after the body was found, investigators received a call from Bergen railway station. 2 unclaimed suitcases were waiting in the left luggage office. Inside, multiple wigs in different colors, non-prescription glasses, cosmetics, foreign currency from Belgium, Britain, and Switzerland, and a small notebook, its pages filled with a personal coded shorthand. Norwegian intelligence eventually decoded it. It was a travel diary, dates and cities recorded in cipher. Her movements traced a methodical route across Europe in the months before her death. Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, then Norway. No family ever came forward. No missing persons report matched. Interpol contacted dozens of countries. Nothing. In 2017, NRK and the BBC mounted a major reinvestigation. DNA was extracted. Isotope analysis suggested she likely grew up in a German-speaking region of Central Europe. A facial reconstruction was built and broadcast across Europe. Still, no one came forward. The Cold War context has never left the case. Norway in 1970 had active NATO installations and classified military operations along its coastline. The woman's travel pattern, moving between port cities, paying cash, carrying disguises, using tradecraft-level identity management, is consistent with the operational profile of an intelligence agent. Some investigators believe she was a spy whose cover was blown. Others that she was a courier who became a liability. The official ruling of suicide has always felt fragile, because almost nothing about the scene or the life reconstructed behind it points to an ordinary person in despair. She has been in the ground for over 50 years under a stone that reads, "An unknown woman."